Okay, it's almost time, and we're live. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Okay. Hello. Here we are again. Okay. So, my name is Omolade Akinwumi, and I'm excited to be here again. I think we had this exact same thing this sometime last. All right, so as I was saying, this time last month, we had something really similar, and it was so exciting to see how so many people got to contribute and be a part of, you know, the one-on-ones that I sort of had with the number of people, and I don't take it for granted. Really appreciate it. And now we have somebody that I don't know. Ayodeji is such an amazing person. He is a DevOps engineer, and he has chosen to be on this journey with us as well, and has chosen to also share his journey to our community. And we don't take this for granted. So I'm going to be bringing him on so that we can get right into it. All right. Okay. Hi, Adeji. How you
Hi,
doing?
Daddy. I'm doing okay. How are you too? It's
I'm fine,
Friday.
fine. Yes, it's Friday and we're supposed to be chilling, but look at us here.
It is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. But oh well, let's get right into this. Okay. So we want to be as friendly and as engaging as possible, and to a very large extent, honest. And we are not here to overwhelm anybody with all the buzzwords or anything, but to basically show what exactly DevOps looks like from our perspective, from Omolade's perspective, and from Ayodeji's perspective, and how it can, in turn, also open doors for as many people as possible. So let's start from the basics. What exactly is DevOps? So for me, I would say when I started learning DevOps, I was mostly in software engineering at the time, and they're saying DevOps is a culture. DevOps doesn't necessarily have to do with the tools. It's a culture. It's a culture. So just trying to reform people's minds to the way of doing things at the time, and being able to include the culture of DevOps or agility into the whole practice of software engineering. So it's mostly how we make software teams move faster and stay reliable. It's like a
Yeah,
way that, yeah, to me, it's like a way that people who write code and people that run system work together without, by using sort of automation and some really good practices. So, in your own
mhm.
words, what is DevOps to you, IDG?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I'm always like against people that thinks a DevOps person is just another engineer or another guy that wants to make things work. No, I see it as a culture. Most times I always call myself a DevOps practitioner because it's a way of life. It's a way you do things. Not necessarily just another person trying to run things. So, um, just imagine trying to bridge the gap between the software engineers and the operations, bringing them together and then making them one work together,
Mm-hmm.
make things work on side by side. And I mean, you mentioned that you had like you're first of all a software engineer before you moved into DevOps.
Yeah.
Some of us did not really have the software engineering background,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
DevOps made us, so we're coming from a very different perspective of we just need to engage, we need to bridge that connectivity, that connection between the developers, right, and operations, and then things that is being shipped out there. So I'm just
Yeah.
going to leave it at that. Yeah. So, but I just see it as a culture. It's a way you do things. It's not learning Kubernetes. It's not learning, Docker or monitoring and what have you. It's just
Yeah.
combination of a lot of things. Combination of doing this, doing that, doing and all that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's actually an amazing description of what DevOps is for a lot of people that just feel like DevOps is very far to reach, or they don't even understand what exactly they are doing there. Like for sometimes I feel like some of the technical guys that I work with, they just feel like, yeah, just give it to DevOps folks, just give it to DevOps folks, like they are all knowing or something. But yeah, it's not
Hmm.
that hard. It's not, no, or it's not like something that cannot be phantomed. So yeah, I just really
Hmm.
appreciate the way you broke it down like that. So I think we have introduced the session, and I would just really like to know, for those of us that have joined the call already, I would like to know where we're joining from, what you're doing right now. Are you doing DevOps, data, products, backend, front end? So you can just drop it in the chat as the conversations keep going on. So we'll get to know the kind of people, our audience basically, and we also ask, you can also ask as many questions as you want. We are here to answer, so just let us know. So right on to the next question, because there are quite a number of questions that some people had shared before we started this particular live, and that's where we are going to basically be starting from, right? Before now, I was doing a proper mentorship, which I'm still doing, and I was having one-on-ones with a lot of people, and most of them were asking questions like, how, what was it like? What made you choose this profession? What made you go into this? What made you do this? Like, so I would like to know, Ayodeji, what exactly was your biggest fear when you were starting out as a DevOps engineer?
Sure, sure. So I think for me, coming from an engineering background, not necessarily um, a software engineer or a developer, it it was scary, right? It was something of, are you sure you can do this? I had a lot of people tell me it is difficult to, bro,
Mm-hmm.
it's not easy, can you write code? Can you not write code? Do you need to learn how to write code? There were just a lot of questions. Like I can remember um this was in like um 2019, 2020, right? And it was a lot of back and forth in my head. I wasn't sure. But then I just like completed my networking classes. I thought I was going to be doing networks, racking servers, connecting cables, setting up, all those things like that. But then I wanted something more. Yeah, yeah. Then I started, delving into the cloud space. The way my own journey is like really funny because I it was a lot of how do I put it? It was a process for me. I didn't jump into it. I grew into it. I didn't jump start to become, yeah, yeah. I did not. That's why when I tell people, I mean, you mentioned mentoring. I've had like tons of people reach out to me as well, and I tell them that one most important thing for me is actually the first principles, the law of the first principle. It guides me a lot. Like if you can understand the law of first principle, you'd become a far better DevOps engineer than someone that just jumped in and then just started learning tools because they
Yeah,
want to be a DevOps engineer. Yeah.
yeah.
So I did a couple of networking, wrote my CCNA exam, then started delving into the cloud, running mostly. infrastructure as service and platform, no, and software as service, so
Right. Right.
I did a couple of Microsoft 365, Exchange services. I just did a lot of things in that axis for a while, and then I wanted more. This is not enough. Then I looked into platform, yeah, platform as a service, and I got interested in Kubernetes, and I'm like, oh, okay, Kubernetes is amazing, it's sweet. This is something that I would really like to jump into, and boom, that was it. Before I knew it, I just found that I was already doing things around DevOps, and then I was already like spinning up my own instances, um running my trying to automate things. I need to put that as well,
Yes.
because that's also something that
Yeah.
you would always, like, you cannot
Always.
escape from. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In fact, it's one of the watchwords as a DevOps engineer as well.
Yeah.
Things that
Yeah.
would require, say, 4 days to do, you should be able to like make it work in maybe one day, and then you
Yeah.
don't have to always be there to make it work. Just things that makes you sleep better at night. Yeah. So yep.
Yeah.
So that's like in short.
Yeah. So what you said around automation, right? I actually remember one time, just a couple of years ago, and
Hmm.
somebody was asking me, "Come and teach me DevOps engineering," and I'm like, "Okay, yes, try to study this, try to study that, learn this, learn that," and then he was like, "Wait now, like, don't you guys just like press and go and sleep, press something and go and sleep? Like, is that not what you guys do? Do you guys actually do anything?" And I'm like, "Wait
Yeah.
now, wait now, wait now." Just assume that we don't do anything now. Like that's why we call ourselves DevOps engineers. So I think that's really the point of DevOps engineers, right? Our work is to make things better. And I think in the process of trying to make things better, right, it takes a lot to get there. There's the part of grinding and grinding until you actually see the positive returns from it. So it's not those positive returns that people see, that they forget that there was actually the process of actually building and trying to fix it, trying to figure it out for it to be seamless for them, for us as DevOps, and for the developers and for other stakeholders as well. Right. So thank you very much for that and for sharing. One more
Mhm.
another question would be, what's one thing that you wish that you knew earlier in your career? Because you said you moved from engineering, then networking and all of that, and then you gradually went into DevOps. So what was one thing
Mhm.
that you knew earlier before you moved?
Moved into DevOps. Yeah. Um, I wish I really paid much more attention into learning how to write code. Yeah. It's
Mm,
a very yes. So the truth is that the question of, does a DevOps engineer need to write code, or does a DevOps engineer not need to write code, is something I think still is always been asked every time. Oh, I want to learn how to become I want to become a DevOps engineer. Do I need to learn how to write code? And I hear people say, oh, you don't need to learn how to write code. And some people also think, yeah, I don't like, oh, you do need to learn how to write code. And I how do I put it? I wish I listened to the people that said you need to learn how to write code, to be
mm-hmm,
very honest.
mm,
I'm not trying to scare anyone, but believe you me, if you get a good background with learning how to write, I mean, you might not necessarily be object-oriented code, it might be declarative, it might be your YAML scripting,
mm,
Bash scripting, Python or whatnot, but don't just like expect enter DevOps and you think it's just click, click, click here, click there, click there. Nah,
ah,
that's really, yeah, because I got in with that mentality that, oh, I don't need to write code. And then I got it and I saw that I wasn't going to progress if I do not know some rudimentary to writing code, to understanding how logic works, working with the developer. In fact, sometimes you need to even know how to interpret some object-oriented languages. At some point in my career, I didn't have a choice. I mean, it's not like I can't write .NET per se, but I understand the framework. You understand what I'm saying? I can be able to interpret and know, but it took me time. It gave me sleepless nights. I had to like take courses. I had to become more close to developers, tell them
Mm,
that, guy, you guys need to teach me how this thing works because I want to work better with you. So
yeah.
if I had learned how to write code or learned or came in with the understanding that you cannot run away from writing code as a DevOps engineer, I think
Yeah.
I would have been it would have been better, easier, maybe not easier, but better. Yeah, that way.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Um,
Hmm.
Most times when anybody asks me what's the first thing that they should learn when they want to do DevOps, I'm always like, nah, you need to. My number one thought is you need to know Linux. Like you are not running away from Linux. You have to stay
Hmm.
there and actually understand and learn it
Yeah.
because you have to do a lot of scripting. You are going to have to do a lot of command line running commands, and there's no how you do it without actually knowing the basics. And for me, I think that's what the basic is. And as DevOps, actually review code. We actually review developers' codes on a daily basis. So there's no how you
Absolutely.
can review codes if you don't understand them. So if it's the basic understanding, if it's just to understand, even if you're not actively coding, you still need to understand what coding, programming, and all of that is, because it's just like saying that you're working in a place and you don't know what those people that you're working with actually do. It will be very, very
Hmm.
hard for you to be able to propose things that make sense and they would understand. So I really feel like, yeah, that's so true. But for me, what I wish I knew earlier. What do I wish that I knew earlier before starting DevOps? I think maybe if they had told me that I was going to be this stressful.
Well,
The boss there was like, go into tech, there's money in tech, blah blah blah. But nobody really talks
mhm.
about the fact that you literally work your ass out, for lack of a better word. Like you will work
Yeah,
here.
yeah, actually, for some of us, that wasn't necessary because coming from engineering and
Mm,
where engineering was already tough.
yeah, true, true.
So, and then the fact that it was also like a growth into I spent, in fact, I think it was my early, like, in this the fact that I started burning a lot of time in the night hours, right, to really understand this concept and get in over the years kind of
Yes.
affected me. And these days I'm mostly awake at night hours because
Mhm.
because I've this time, you are just always awake. You just want
Yeah,
to understand this concept. You just want to know
yeah.
what to do. People are telling you you're scared. I was really scared. I was not sure if I was going to do the right thing or not. And yeah, there was this buzz of coming to tech, make money,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The buzz also, everybody wanted to make money, even though you want to
Yeah.
also, make an impact with your skills and then build something out of your skills. But I mean, what can you do without cash? Cash is king. That's what they
It is
say.
so.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
bonding, night. So the stress part is actually non-negotiable. Like you're that go-to guy, you're that guy that they can call at 12, that call at 10, and I mean maybe we'll get to there because of our talk, right?
Yeah.
There are two sides to that sword, right? There's a sort of, yeah, there's a lot of things you have to do, and there's also this sort of, there are things you can do to reduce the stress. So there are at least two sides to the sword, but I guess we could talk about
Yeah.
like later
Yeah.
into the discussion.
Okay. Yeah. So when did you start feeling like, okay, yes, we're in the right place and this is working?
Mm, that question is kind of tricky because,
Mm,
of course, I think like the first year, second year, you know, I wasn't still certain. I was still like, I share in the right place. I shared in the right thing, because there are just a lot of things to do. Like, like the learning curve of becoming a DevOps engineer does not end.
Yeah.
It's continuous, it's infinitive,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you're trying to learn something, and then something new is coming, and then you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to catch up with that, and then there's something new coming, and
Another one. Jeez.
it's like so yeah, it was really scary. I wasn't sure, to be honest, but
Yeah.
at what point, um I think I worked with a consulting firm
Mm-hmm.
that really, really helped. That I had this boss that really believed in me then, because you from a lot of people that didn't study computer science, maybe you came from an engineering background or you're switching into tech, there's
Yeah.
always this barrier of breaking into
Yeah.
industry,
Yeah.
especially when you're self-learned, and then you got to like do a lot of things yourself. You just need that one boss that believes in you, right? And luckily for me, I found someone that believed in me. I worked with him, and then yeah, there are a couple of times he told me that, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what you're doing, but I just feel like you can do something way better. And that was the push and the ginger for me. And staying working for him for like 2 years or about 3 years like that,
Mm.
I knew that, yeah, this was what I wanted to do. I just needed to like expand my horizon and not be myopic about this thing. So that was like 2 years in. The 1.5 or 2 years into me being a DevOps engineer was when I met with my boss, and then he just gave me that platform and that soft landing, to break things, to try things out. And yeah, I knew that, yeah, I'm not going anywhere else again. Just gonna continue on this
Yeah.
career. But yeah, yeah, that
Yeah.
was it for me actually. Yeah,
Okay.
that was it
Okay.
for me. Mhm, mhm.
Oh,
How about yours? I mean,
for
it felt like
me.
it was easier for you because you already had like some background in software engineering. Yeah.
Well, but when I felt like this was working, hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, I had a
Hmm.
bit of background in software engineering. Yes, so it was a bit. I don't know. Obviously, it was not like it was easy, but
Hmm.
yeah, it was not strange. But when I started to feel like this was working, I think my story is also a bit similar to yours. We always need that one person to believe in us, to believe that even though I don't feel like yeah doing the best thing right now, I feel like there's something that is ahead of you and something in your future. So I also
Hmm.
had somebody that gave me that chance. No, not just one person. I've had multiple people give me chance multiple times. So, and
Hmm.
I really appreciate them. When
Hmm.
I thought that this was working was when, ah, oh gosh. Firstly, the fact that I was able to say things that I didn't know how to say before. And when I say
Mm.
things, I mean, so I have a background in microbiology. I studied microbiology in my undergraduate. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so
Okay, okay. Okay, okay.
so like
Yeah.
tech and all those things was like, what's this? Like, I have no idea what you people are doing. But the fact that I was able to actually pass on that knowledge. So initially when I started, I was very always asking questions. I don't know this. There's also this imposter syndrome thing that is like, what am I even
Yeah.
doing here? Am I even supposed to be
Yeah.
here in the first place? What's going on?
Hmm.
But I
Hmm.
think when I became like a team lead for one DevOps mentorship program, another DevOps mentorship program, and I was able to actually organize it well. And people were like asking me questions and saying that, oh, I feel like I need this, I feel like I'm stuck in this, and da, 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 da. That was when I now started to feel like, okay, maybe we're actually meant to be here, right? And maybe it's not a bad idea. And yeah, and of course, yes, it's, to be honest, I think it sort of made um at least I know that the salary that I was collecting before is not what I started collecting when I started.
Of course, of course.
so so yeah, I think yeah, that's it for me really. Um
Let me say something here.
yeah.
So I mean, I also believe that people need to. I don't know how it's going to happen, but one way or the other, you just need to find that platform that would give you the soft landing. I remembered how I learned Terraform, right? It was I started learning Terraform, of course. It's part of the old training thing because people said, oh, at least you know how to learn you have to write Terraform on the basics outside the other things that you can do. So I met this person, and then the first task he gave to me was to write out, use Terraform
Mm-hmm.
to should I say design or build an entire Azure environment, from the virtual networks to the subnets to Kubernetes and what have you, and it has to be modularized. And
Mm-hmm.
I I was scared. I told him I'm not sure I can do it. I've not done. I'm just very new into understanding the concept of Terraform, and I even started with AWS. I don't. I can't do. I'm not sure I can. I just told him I'm not sure I can do it. I can someone else do it because the other guys like they were in the team. And he said, no, it has to be me that would do it. Whatever way I needed to like get it done, I should just find ways to get it done. And then I started, and it was tough. Oh my God. See, Terraform is, I mean, or trying to write script or trying to get something done, especially when you're entirely new to it, is tough
Mm-hmm.
because it wouldn't work. You would try something, your plan is going to fail, your validation is going to fail. I was sweating, it was tough. I was calling for help,
Yeah.
but the truth is, all those years where, till tomorrow, I still have that repository. Like, if I'm tired and I feel like worn out in this. So I'll just go back there and say, I wrote this thing, I wrote this thing, that means I could actually do anything I want to do right now. So looking
Yeah.
out for people that can give you that platform to make
Yes.
your mistakes, give you that soft landing and can be able to defend you even when you go into errors. And this was not even in a test environment. This was in production environment. Like it was prepared. I was running all those videos and all, but I knew I was going to push this into production. It was going to go live. I have to like set up the environment for. So it was scary because of course
Yeah.
I understood that this was money getting into it. So if I break things, money is going to like be lost or something. And also this is exciting to me because if I get this right, this could be a game changer for me. And yeah, it was a mixture of both of them. Of course, I delayed, I couldn't meet up on the time,
Mm-hmm.
but I got it done. And then today I'm really excited about, doing that. Yeah. So I just wanted to chip that in concerning, getting someone that gives you that platform. It's very important.
Oh, okay. And well, I think this is probably the time where I actually talk about beyond the boot camp and what we do. So we are more
Absolutely.
like a mentorship. We bring people that are trying to understand what tech is. They are trying to, okay, we are here. Now we know the tech. Now we have gone through the boot camp. Now we have done this. Now we have done that. But we don't know what next. So what we do at Beyond the Boot Camp is we sort of unhold you. We also give you responsibilities where you have to show that okay, you're really in this and you're willing to grow. So that's my 2 cents, and I feel like if you're willing, please join the Beyond the Bootcamp. Thank you very much. So man, Ayodeji, you have dropped a lot of gems today, and I
Yeah,
don't take it for granted. I have like so many other questions to ask, and I don't think that I can ask it all. So maybe we are going to bring you again some other time. But
absolutely.
yeah. All right. So I've not really gotten much questions from the chat. So I think I'm just going to ask one last question before we wrap this up. So what's one DevOps tool that you feel like is needed right now? No, actually, no, not just one. No, before I ask that last question, what's your thoughts
Mhm.
around AI and how it's affecting DevOps right now?
Oh, okay. I mean, it's straightforward. AI has come to stay. That's even not a new, it's not news again.
Yeah.
And would AI take some jobs from DevOps practitioner now? Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
actually. Yeah, maybe. But it's also based on your approach to using AI. right? Seeing AI as a tool to help you achieve your result faster and better, not necessarily, it's pushing you out of the system because no matter what, you still need to. I was having a discussion with my mentor, and he told me that, are you sure that in the next 10 years, AI is not going to push you out of the market? And I said, to be very honest, I can't say yes or a no to that. But one thing I know is that, hmm, yeah, you can set up AI system can do, there's so much it can do for you in terms of being a DevOps engineer. So let me reason out on a on a day-to-day, right? Like what happens on a day to day, depending on the environment you're working with. Let's say, for instance, you're working in the fintech environments. Like, I mean, I've been working in financial technologies like banking for the past like 3 years, 4 years. Yeah, I've just been around the banking and the fintech axis. It was just my choice. Yeah, I just left consulting and I said I wanted to see what it feels like. And it's gangster. It's always a different ball game here, because you're dealing with much more sensitive information, and then you cannot even afford to make mistakes. A single mistake like this, the ripple effect is always insane. Yeah, speaking from experience, I've had like my own fair share of it. But yes, yes. But now,
You're losing this amount of money per minute.
exactly, yeah. And your boss is telling you that if you make this mistake, more customers are getting frustrated, and you know what it means. They will get tired of using the app and they are losing money. So you cannot even afford to make some kind of mistakes when you're working in fintech or banking environment, right? But what I'm trying to say is that in such an environment that is dynamic like that and is fast paced, right? There's so much that AI can do as a DevOps engineer to do the whole monitoring system. You'd always need an human interaction. And then as a person, what am I doing, or what I think people should be doing is that we're learning how to collaborate with AI and then make things work faster, make lesser mistakes. There are as human, right, you're trying to do a migration from an environment to another. You're trying to do something. You're prone to making mistakes. You're prone to forgetting that, oh, the resource that this service needs to use is, say, it needs a CPU of 1,000 millicore, and then you're trying to do that kind of thing, and you probably put 100 or you put 10, or
Mm,
you just make some typical errors human, right? But if you are collaborating with AI, it can help you minimize those errors,
yeah.
right? In a safe way, in a safe way. I saw a meme just like 2 hours ago about a guy said, I just the press allow for Claude, and I got this Claude.
I think I saw that as well.
Like that cracks me up really badly, like that's not it, that it's gonna put in my mind. I'm just like, until Claude helps you
Man,
delete,
wipe
like until he deletes
everything.
one database for you, and then you have a sleepless night, or it does something for you, or it carries you to where you don't even know, and then you're like, how
Yeah,
did I come here?
yeah,
So you need to be careful. But so it's not a turnkey project. It's not something you hand over entirely to AI to do for you. I don't think so. Yeah, it's a collaborative effect. And how do you withstand that as human for not, maybe loss of job and stuff, is just learn how to collaborate with it, learn how to use the tools to achieve your result faster and better. Yeah, that's what I
yeah,
see. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Thanks for that, man. Because,
Hmm.
what was that? Okay, I had a story to share while you were talking.
Hmm.
A few years back, I think that was when ChatGPT came up, and I was doing normal DevOps work, like my normal work, and somebody just to ask me, "Have you heard of ChatGPT?" And I'm like, "Bruh, I beg, it's people that don't know their work that are using AI, Jerry."
Oh, you're part of those people, right? I see. You're
I
part of those
was,
people.
I admit,
Okay, okay,
I
okay,
was.
okay, okay.
Like, nah, if you know your work, you don't need to use AI. You use your brain. Our brain there was it not? What's it called? It was Google. It was Stack Overflow that was really helping us that year. But then
Hmm.
AI came, and man, when I started to actually understand that, okay, the way I was using Stack Overflow, the way I was using Google, I mean, it's a more effective way. And and aside other, obviously, we know that it's a lot more powerful than just that. And
Mhm.
one thing that I also wanted to point out is that a lot of us sort of misuse it because sometimes we put out data, like we just open, it's just like we just open the doors and we just allow it to enter anything. And our job as DevOps engineers is not just for the name of DevOps engineering. We are also very security cautious. We are the one that basically even allow manage the identity, access, all of those things. So
Absolutely.
we are extra careful when it comes to giving out any form of information concerning anything that we are handling and we are working with. So yes, even though AI is here to stay and is amazing to help, so we should also be very, very careful, especially with those of us that work on very sensitive data. So yep. And our very last question finally, what is one DevOps tool that you advise people to learn right now? And then what is your advice for anybody that is coming into DevOps now? Two
Of
questions.
course. Two questions in one. So for tooling, right? I have a very, very um a different perspective to tooling, right? Because for someone that really used a couple of tools, yeah, like I've used DevOps tools. I've had privilege. In fact, for every new experience that I have, there's always a new tool that comes with
Mm-hmm.
it, and then I'd say that learn how to use Linux very well. Yeah, because I can't say I can't say go and learn how to use Datadog because you can get the job now. They're not using Datadog, they're using New Relic. You
Yeah.
know, I can't say go and learn how to use, you just need to first of all understand the base. And that's going to take me back to you learning first principles. Like, try to understand why this is happening, right? Kubernetes
Yeah.
as a whole, I'm not sure anybody is really bootstrapping Kubernetes these days again. We are all using managed, you understand, AKS,
Yeah.
GKS, EKS,
Yeah.
and the likes, right? And the truth is, if you understand the concept of Kubernetes, understand, what is involve the Kubernetes, the HPAs,
Congress
all what
services and all
the,
of that.
you
Yeah.
understand, deployments and what have you, you can be able to transfer your knowledge into whatever platform that you find yourself into. And also that also like translates into monitoring, right? For monitoring now, when you think about the monitoring, because that's also like a part of DevOps, right? And I mean, in some environment, it's been broken. Now you have SREs, right? Some of us still do everything together. We do
Yeah.
the monitoring, some of us are we're still rugged in it,
There's no
People
demarcation.
are, some of us don't have demarcation. You're the one, doing it all right. Why, some people have been able to segregate that, which is like good and easy, but in terms of tooling, don't follow the buzz. I mean, I think the buzz of tooling has even dropped a bit.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
in the past, like in like 3, 4 years ago, there was just like a lot of buzz. You need
Yeah.
to learn. Like, as you're hearing this, you're hearing Terraform, you're hearing Pulumi. You're like, oh, can you use Pulumi?
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes. That's so
bro,
true.
I just, I
Actually,
just, I just really let it Terraform. I don't be Pulumi again now. You know that kind of
you
thing.
not be feeling
And you're like,
bad, like
oh,
you don't know what's going on. You're not
do you
research.
understand? Do you
Yeah.
get like, oh, can you use cloud formation? And there's also this thing that you want to apply
Ansible.
for a job,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and you want to apply for a job, most HR, as they have this thing. I mean, I don't know if they're HRs there. I'm not trying to shade them, but if you tell an HR to go and post a recruitment out there, HR will just go and copy one thing and then just post tons of things. Know how to use this, know how to use that, know how to, and then you look at it like, what's going on here? The same HR is saying that you know how to use AKS, EKS, GKE, know how to use Ansible, know how to use Terraform, know how to use all those kind of tools, and then those things can be quite overwhelming. The truth is, you cannot exhaust the tools as a DevOps person, there are more
Yeah.
tools
Yeah.
coming in per time, right? So what I think is learn the fundamentals, learn
Yeah.
the basics, understand it, then you can always transfer your knowledge, right? Like I've done a lot of knowledge transfers over and over again. I've seen senior engineers join a team. You're coming as an experienced hire from a different organization that you're like the boss. But you
Yeah.
come into this organization and then you see the kind of things you're doing, you'd watch, you get on board. You'd be like,
Yeah.
I've not heard of this before. I've not heard of DAPA before. I've not heard of, oh, Data Dog. Really? You guys did Data Dog for money trade? Where I'm coming from? We just use Grafana. That's what we do, and then we just try to do things manually and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
don't be overwhelmed by the old tooling thing. Just learn basics, learn fundamental, learn Linux, and then stick to what you learn so you don't
Yeah.
get swayed.
Yeah.
The second question is what again? Sorry.
Advice for anybody that's coming into tech, DevOps
Ah,
specifically.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, well, if you can, don't come. Truth to be told, I'm not even. See, I'm not. I'm going to share a story. I studied civil engineering in university, and when I finished school, I've had a minimum like of five colleagues of mine reach out to me that I want to. I start DevOps. I'm a tech guy now. I want to join the bandwagon, and I usually do not sugarcoat things for them. I always tell them it's hard. In fact, I had a colleague of mine then, he was so excited. I've gotten a Mac. I have internet. I'm gingered. I'm ready. What do I need to do? I like calm down first, bro. And most of them could not really go through the fire because everybody thinks that yeah, it's tech, just jump into it, make your money and be good. Would you make money? Yeah, you would, but some of us don't even have social lives again, my friends have tagged me workaholic because bro, you're always having something to do, you're always deploying. Why are you having meeting at 10 p.m. at night, bro? Don't you have a
Me.
life?
I mean, the amount of times I've had to explain that it's a lot of people, eh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you can, don't come. But if you really think you can do this, then you should be ready to withstand pressure. So
Yeah.
this is the kind of pressure that when you're handling a production environment and then you realize that there is a lot of things at stake or something is broken and then you are in the midst of people that says this thing has to work and
Mm-hmm.
everything looks okay, bro. Like you've checked it 1,001 times, nothing is wrong, but it's still not working,
Yes.
and it
Yeah.
has to work. You don't have a choice. You understand that kind of thing. So the pressure is intense, right? Like you need to be able to do, you know, withstand, pressure. And so if you really want to do this, of course, be ready for the sleepless nights, be ready for the weekend troubleshooting, be ready for, you know, being saying that you're the one that caused that thing, just a couple of things like that. But then if you can be able to withstand all those things, I think you can have a good ride. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. So now the worst has happened or not. So I was going to wrap up now and then I checked the chat and I realized that people have actually sent messages.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I don't know if you would like to take some of them or one is specifically for
Uh
you actually. So
uh
it
oh,
says
okay. I can see from Emmanuel.
yes, yes.
Okay, since you've been in the fintech space for a while, I'd like to ask with the CBN localization policy coming up, how do you think it's going to affect DevOps and cloud infrastructure in Nigeria by 27? Should they just start preparing more self-managed infrastructure? Do you think local cloud providers may mature fast enough to close the gap? Hmm. Well, I mean, when I saw that, when I saw that as well, yeah, it's not necessarily going to affect DevOps engineers, right? It's just going to, oh yeah, 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 I can. It's just going to make you stretch a little bit more, right? Some of us
Mm,
have had the experience of working on on-prem infrastructure, right? And then we've also had the experience of working on cloud infrastructure, right?
yes.
So it's just going to stretch you, right? And then, like I said earlier, a DevOps engineer, the learning curve is unending, you know. So policies like this would always come, and then it means more work for you in the DevOps team, but it's really not something totally out of scope. It's not something that cannot be done. It's just that it's going to be more work, you know, ensuring that your fintech or wherever you work is abiding by the localization policy. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the bit. You know, it's not something I want to like talk a lot about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but trust me, it's not going to affect DevOps engineer. It's not going to affect cloud infrastructure per se as well. If you really follow the whole thing happening around localization, MTN opening their data center, you
Mm,
know, and there's just a lot of things happening around, right? Just need to keep up and then, you know, make sure that you're updating yourself from time to time. Yeah. I think that's that question.
okay, okay, okay. All right, yes, and there's one other question from Amarachi. She says a question would be how can one get their first role and why does it seem difficult to break into the niche from Nigeria?
Mm.
Do you think
It's
you
really
can take
difficult. I mean, maybe Lade, you start with it. Lade should start with that. Yeah, yeah.
that? Okay, so to be fair, I know there was a time where there was a buzz around DevOps. We need to hire lots and lots of DevOps engineers, right? I the buzz has sort of dwindled a little compared to the way it was years ago. But
So,
I still feel like if you put your work out there, if you do good work, of course you're still going to be needed. But most importantly, I think you need to work on yourself, work on how you're positioning yourself, work on the kind of work you're doing, how your GitHub, have you specified that this is the kind of work I want to look for? And most times, I think I used to advise that you don't necessarily need to cage yourself up to one particular because DevOps, there's SRE, there's cloud. So you don't need to say, okay, I'm only looking for DevOps roles, I'm only looking for SRE roles. I think you can actually apply to as many because putting yourself where you feel like you're not going to belong is also quite important. And you don't need to wait for them to come and find you. You can also put yourself on and apply, send in, ask people to refer you. Yeah, because I don't know, it's almost as if it's like a closed community in a way. But yeah, I did you have one or two to say on that?
yeah, I mean, from my experience, I'm always very open with people. It's not going to be easy breaking in. Yeah, but a lot of people have done it. A lot of people have, you know, gotten into the OSEC. You just need to like keep doing what you know how to do, and you know, put yourself out there, LinkedIn, you know, whatever platforms that you can, you know, talk about the work that you do. I used to do that. I think I should start doing that again, you know, especially when I was doing that Terraform project I talked about. I knew
Yeah.
I posted it on LinkedIn. I met people from different, you know, reach out to me via DM, collaborated, learned from people, you know, when I had issues, I can even remember there like these two LinkedIn connects that I had then. I was always reaching out to, you know, because I felt like they had a different perspective with way
Mhm.
things could be done than I have, right? Or I had then, you know, and they helped me. The knowledge helped me grow as a DevOps engineer. So just keep learning, keep practicing, keep putting yourself out there. And then, and, I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but you shouldn't be scared of like picking up a job or a position that wouldn't pay you so much money, right? I mean, it doesn't mean that you should go and, you know, put yourself in tight situations with, you know, workplace policies and all, like in terms of payment. But
Yeah.
there's some kind of jobs that you're going to get at first that the money is not going to be much, but if you can, if it's a place you would learn, if it's a place you'd be able to practice appropriately, if it's a place you'd be able to have more experience here, put yourself into it and then see what comes out of it for you.
Okay, thank you very much. And that is officially a wrap. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining.
Mhm.
Thank you for being engaging, for asking really nice questions, and for commenting. We don't take it for granted, and I really hope that there's one or two things that you have taken out of here. So, see you at the top. Bye.
All right. Bye,
Thank you so
everybody.
much, Deji, for joining. It
Thank you
was
for having me,
perfect.
Lade. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.